Okay, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear and also see now. Welcome, welcome. Whoa. Mr. Blue here. Bumblebee Tuner, my man Eric A. is in the house. Joe Frank. Fort Max. Alex H. Hopefully y'all had a good holiday. King Santo. Yeah, Earthquake. The ghetto stream through phone here. Ghetto. Blue. Yes, that is I, Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. After this stage 5 Richter scale earthquake, we'll get to the charts. I'll spend an hour with y'all, TradePhantoms.com, just pre-market prep. Kind of what it looks like, and then we'll trade the open, see if there's any setups that are presented. Mainly futures, stock, and options. And that being said, let's do it, right? So today's date, timestamp, kind of holiday season, just got over Thanksgiving, right? December 3rd is today, Tuesday, 2024. Mr. Blue here, I'm your host, TradePhantoms.com. I'll start off just pretty basic here with, is there any news? Yesterday, Monday, we had an ISM. For today, JOLTS data. Good morning, Jackie. Tomorrow, so there's some stuff this week, folks, so just keep it on your radar. For today, it's just JOLTS at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if and when we are in any trading setups, just make sure that we are adjusting and accounting for, some potential volatility. I mean, that's a pretty decent one there. Anything to do with jobs, JOLTS data, pretty important there. We have ADP tomorrow, ISM tomorrow, Fed chair, but he's not really changing anything. He's just kind of having a discussion. But anytime he speaks, be aware of that. Unemployment, of course, on Thursdays, and then we do have non-farm payrolls this Friday, right? So we got some stuff this week to provide a some movement. New month, so make sure that you are mapping out your last month's high, last month's low, right? Super important. I bring this up every morning, no matter what trade room or level we are in. So top-down approach off the back of demand and supply at Phantoms. Okay, TradePhantoms.com. This is kind of a little cheat sheet here, right? Monthly, weekly, daily. I kind of color code things. Orange, monthly, yellow is going to be weekly, daily is going to be blue. So anything you see in those colors are going to be oriented around those time frames, right? I'm not going to go through the whole list here, but just the point that I'm trying to make is, yes, last month, of course, well, now it's a new month, I should say, right? So make sure you're mapping out your last month high and last month low, and know how your candle has closed and in what context, location those monthly bars or candles closed in, right? Super important there. Moving down, we got some candlesticks. That being said, about candlesticks, okay, we go over this in more detail inside of the classes, but we have bullish location being most important, bearish location being most important, and then we have the liquidity map, which is super powerful if you know how to navigate and dissect this market, right side and ride, correct side of the market and ride. So I will start off with futures, right? SPY's all-time highs yesterday. Qs, hopefully y'all Phantoms caught this. We got long QQQs at the end of Friday, right before the weekend, and those printed nicely. Still have some on, just taking profits, riding winners, taking some profits. So those were almost up a good solid, 100% from the long calls, or if you took NASDAQ futures, nice little pop too as well. Right, so I'll get back to the Qs in a moment. Let me go to the futures market here. I'll start off with the kind of major four indexes here. Kind of messy, but we got the S&P futures upper left, daily time frame, NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, and Russell 2000 bottom right. And, Dow Jones and Russell, just really quickly getting through those real quick, they've just been kind of basing, S&Ps and NASDAQ have been moving pretty nicely. Dow Jones had a nice little rip up to kind of almost lead the way in a way with a nice impulse move higher high. Then the NASDAQ and the S&P took a little bit more longer to do that. But let me dive into the charts here so you can see a bit more better, I believe. So we've been talking about this. I'm not going to go too much. I'm sure some of y'all have been following the channel, or just we have phantoms in here that are in the live trade room multiple days a week. So, I'm not going to go too much to the back here and talk about how we're in this bull market, right? So nobody should be surprised at all that the S&Ps have made all-time highs. NASDAQ QQQs, I think, kissed all-time highs as well yesterday as well, or give or take, or they're a couple of pennies away from that, or points away from that. But we've had this drop that happened November, Friday the November 15th, right? We've been talking a lot about that bar, that, nice little drop. We've been talking about the correctional wave, 50% correction, all that kind of stuff, right? Y'all can rewind that recording and all that anywhere where you see me go live on the charts. We had a fakey breaky here, and we've just been grinding up, right? We've just been grinding up. Now, we do have a new month, right? We do have a new month. So, and I know I'm kind of rabbit holing here just really quickly, but this I think is a bit more cleaner, I'm hoping. Last month was a pretty monster month, if you look at it, right? So the way that this candle had closed, this is a monthly time frame of the SPY, okay, the ETF for the S&P 500. And if I just hover over this candle, this is the way that it closed last month, okay? So we had a strong November, right? So again, people trying to short this market and they just continue to get squeezed out. Now, at some point, yes, this market's will probably take a deeper correction down, okay? But I'm not going to talk about that right now because probably would need something like a catalyst for that to happen. But the point that I'm trying to make just really briefly right now is that could we have some form of correctional move coming in, closing very nicely up on highs for the month of November, but for the month of December, could we have a bit of a correction, maybe first 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, what have you? Absolutely yes, right? Just to keep it very simple for right now, right? So, just be alert, be aware of that, right? This is probably not the time to get super bullish or long in the long-term macro portfolios, okay? So, just be careful with that, right? To put that into perspective as well, just really quickly, I guess this is fitting for the new month of December, and it's the last month of the year, right? Kind of crazy, right? But if I just kind of say, okay, where the S&P closed, last year, and where are we up for so far for the year, and we're touching about what 27%, 26-27%. So the average return in the S&P, going back 100 years, give or take, is 9, 10, 11%. Okay, a stellar year is about 25%. Of course, could you have a little bit more than that, a little bit less than that? Of course. Okay, you also have years that end down in the bear market of 2022. Okay, which was short-lived. But the point that I'm trying to make is, if you're locking in your long-term portfolios all the way up here, okay, you're locking in long or bullish exposure into your portfolios when S&Ps are already up, 27%. So as always, we always try to focus on, you don't want to be buying into new highs. You want to buy as prices correct and come down, right? So just be aware of that correction, okay, of a shorter term correction. Now, this rally might not be done yet, so we might have a little more of a squeeze to the upside. Just one footnote, because there is no supply to the left, right? Does that make sense? Like the S&Ps are at all-time highs. S&P futures, all-time highs. There's no supply to the left. So there's nothing objectively that we could say, hey, and lean against and say, hey, this is an area where, traders, institutions, right? So on and so forth, participants sold, and this market really had a drop down from that selling, right? Supply. So what do? We have to look to options. Options and open interest. And for Fibonacci traders and things like that, you could do Fibonacci extensions, things like that. Okay, which is cool. But I'm more of like I could study the options of it. And the point that I study the options of it, but the versus like a fib. Fib is just kind of a subjective level of pull, and it could be here based on this impulse move here. But a lot of people don't know how to pull fibs the right way. So therefore, open interest and options and are going to be more, I would say, give you more clues and setups, or give you more validity to certain levels. But the point that I'm trying to make, key takeaway here for right now, is that there's a JP Morgan caller trade that always gets put on for each quarter, right? And they have sold calls at 60.55, right? 60.55. So we just nearly touched that yesterday. This is the SPX, right? SPX. I switched over to the SPX real quick. So this 60.55 is going to be fairly interesting, and something that we can lean against to see, if this market does have a little bit of a just pushback from this level. Now, we could break above this level, which is fine, right? This is not expiring until December 31st, right? So what you'll see sometimes, not always, but what you'll see sometimes is usually this JP Morgan caller trade could kind of, cap certain things. Here, this is where JP Morgan is not going to be making any, I don't want to go into it too much detail right now, but it's not just about JP Morgan, but this is something we can use. Keep it very simple for right now. This is something that we can use to put somewhat of a glass ceiling. Y'all know what I mean by glass ceiling, right? Not a cement, not a guarantee, but glass. Okay, and it's easy to break glass, right? If I throw a stone up into the glass, even if it's above me, okay, I got some power with it. All right, I could break the glass that's above, right? So this is a glass kind of ceiling, all right? But just put that as a grain of salt, right? So I mean that's right there basically for where we are in the SPX, right? Doesn't mean that's gonna, again, we can pop above that real quick, okay? If you look at the aggregate, Santo, if you look at the aggregate, you should be able to, the 90-day aggregate should be back, the aggregate. All right. So the point that I'm trying to make here for right now is, we're just grinding higher. We're grinding higher. Nice little pullback. Well, another thing that I was going to mention too, just really briefly, I apologize, kind of going everywhere here, is, we saw this before where we had a, election day big impulse move, and we pulled back, got a nice little 50% correction right there. Okay, now the only thing about this is we were already on a pullback down. Okay, so once we started to really get some insight that, okay, we are going to be pulling back down, we pulled this fib. So I don't know if this is going to be, if we're done going up for right now, right? Does that make sense? We could have another little couple bullish days here, give or take, for the first month of December, okay? And then we can start to pull back down. And then I will just pull another fib just to kind of see, okay, this is a new impulse higher high, right? This is a new impulse higher high. The question is it put in yet? And now we're going to pull back, okay? Or we're going to make a new, just grind, making a new higher high, right? And if that's the case, I have to update this, right? Does that make sense? So the point that I'm trying to make is this will provide, just kind of pretty simple, percent of correctional move down off of the new kind of impulse, new higher high represented by this kind of yellow line right there. Okay, so markets are just beautifully impulse correction, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that the Phantoms team is good to go for any type of pullback that we may get for to put December in the books pretty good, right? So hopefully that makes sense, right? And let me go back to futures as promised. All right, now what we're gonna do just really quickly here, right? Futures are fairly flat, up, I say flat, not even flat. This is the S&P on a daily time frame, right? So we're just kind of basing. We did put in a nice little positive COG a couple days ago on Friday, and this is kind of why I got long QQQs as well in NASDAQ futures, because it was showing a little bit more of a relative strength. So that worked out pretty well. So today, small body bar right now, just opened a couple of hours ago. Yesterday was kind of a quiet day, other than Qs. And Fang was great, but the S&Ps were fairly quiet. Had a slow grind up, while the Qs and Fang stocks, Amazon, Apple, etc., Google even, right, had a nice green day put in yesterday on Monday, pushing the NASDAQ up. but we'll see. We're going to map out our Globex traps, highs and lows in a moment. NASDAQ, for the record here, is not at all-time highs, right? Futures, that is, right? Qs, let me verify my facts here. Let me see, what are we, a couple pennies off? Qs did poke up a new all-time high. All right, Qs did poke up an all-time high yesterday. And so we were part of that. I got the team long on Friday. So we had a nice little start to the week on Monday, assuming you took that trade. And yeah, we are here now. If I mall map it. All right, so we are, did we make a new all-time high? Yeah, by a couple of pennies yesterday. All right, but hey, all-time high. So we are here in NASDAQ, right? Just kind of drew this illustration here to kind of clean it up a bit, right? So yay, congratulations, okay? And the team at Phantoms, I'm hoping, took advantage of that, all right? We spent some time on that before the weekend. So futures, however, back to futures are not at all-time highs. So, 21,340, give or take, right up here is going to be the all-time high. So we're NASDAQ so steep, it's about a couple hundred points away from that. So just be diligent on that. We could just potentially still continue with its upward move here. All right. Yeah, yesterday was a nice little bar that got put in, mapping out yesterday's high, yesterday's low. We're still healthy in that, just basing on the upper range here. All right. And then Dow Jones, Dow Jones up here, just kind of basing out for the last, day or two, give or take. All right. Taking a break after this nice little impulse move, which is fairly common, okay, in markets. All right. Russell 2000 has been inside day. The Russell doing Russell things. It moves when it wants to move, and then it goes to sleep and hibernates when it wants to go to sleep and hibernate, right? So, just be careful with it, right? It's one of those things where, you love it. You love it when it's going, but then it's like frustrating when it kind of just hibernates, right? So just be careful with that, all right? In terms of relative strength, relative weakness, right now, QQQs, NASDAQ is just trying to put in a little bit of take over as the number one dog for strength, all right? But we'll see. That's just, from coming off the back of last week. We'll see if that continues. I got monthly Thinkorswim chart here, right? So we got monthly, weekly, daily here. I'll switch over to the S&P futures. And it is getting cold where I'm at. Let me get... So always want to start out with your monthly, weekly, daily. Monthly, weekly, daily S&Ps. I got the 60-minute time frame here, upper left, 30-minute bottom left, 5-minute middle, 2-minute here on the right. I pop open the 1 hour time frame of said S&P futures, starting with Globex high, the overnight session. Here in gray kind of color code here in Thinkorswim, it's right there. About 60, I'll just quote the last two digits here, 67.85, give or take. Globex low right here. So a pretty quiet overnight session, right? Just kind of a base, just saying basing. Hard to trust any bars here, red bar, green bar, red bar, green bar, just a quiet little base. The point that I just want to make just really quickly here is, do I have demand, am I looking for a Globex trap? I'm looking for demand, a qualified level of demand below the Globex low. So if I look at, right below the Globex low, there's a little level right there, okay, which could be used as some kind of form of demand. I'd be careful with that one a little bit there, very kind of close up to this base range. If we come lower, this is a level here, right? It's kind of hard to say that it's not a level. But if I were to ask y'all, some of my phantoms in here, is this a high quality level? Is it high quality? I'd say no, not really, right? We do have a drop, it's a basing, and it's a rally, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong here, IBI, right? But it's done overnight, all right? Overnight, coming off of a weekend holiday as well, so just be careful with it, right? Kind of like a Sunday evening, early Monday morning, okay? Move, right? So you just want to be a little bit careful with that. Now I'd reference that, all right? Well, I don't even really want to put a price on that, but that comes in about 60-40, 60-41, give or take, all right? Just looking at that candle there. But if we come lower, this is where we have, I'd say, where I'd say we probably have, this is not fresh. So this is another thing that I want to kind of mention here. By the way, we just popped out a new Globex low right now. So just got to update that. Okay. So, these levels. If I ask down here too, are these levels super high quality, prime, fresh, A1 plus ones? I'd say probably no, right? No, because we have levels here, retest. Okay, so when that typically happens, when you don't have really high quality, fresh levels of prime levels, really, right below price, that typically gives us a little sign too as well, some insight that if we do kind of continue to go lower, we could have not just a flush down, but a bigger correctional move down. I'm not saying we're going to come all the way down here, but we're going to put that into perspective, right? Now the last 2 weeks, give or take, for the close of November, the thesis was, the S&Ps and NASDAQ were like flushing out, early in the morning, kind of sometimes late in the afternoon. And then we were just like, putting a wick, bottoming tail, then grind higher, right? Grind higher, flush out, then grind higher, right? Flush out, grind higher, right? Flush out, then grind higher. So going into this week and next week, for the early part of December, I'd want to make sure that, okay, if we flush out, is it a flush out? Okay. And, the buyers start to come back in, or is it a flush out and go, flush and go? Okay, so just put that into perspective. Right now, the one thing that you don't want to do as a professional trader is try to think so much of what you think is going to happen. Like, oh no, this week it's going to go down, flush down, and continue to go down, down, down. Okay, because then if you marry your brain to that thesis and it's not doing that, then that's typically where a lot of people get things wrong. Okay, so listen to the price. Okay, listen to the chart. Wait for your positive, negative CFGs. Okay, if it's not that much of a high quality level, either don't take the trade, okay, or wait for more confirmational positive, negative CFGs inside of your levels to make sure that the buyers and sellers are stepping foot into that place. All right, I'll give you a quick one here. Flushing down over here on my left, red bar down. Okay, but then we hit these levels of demand. All right, and some of them weren't even super high quality, right? Some of them weren't even super duper high quality. Okay, but we had a nice little bottoming tail hammer bar. All right, and then we faded back up for the rest of the day, and then that obviously continued back up when it's overall macro uptrend and alignment. Okay, you can see quickly even here, right? Flush down, green bar take out red, right? And then we grind higher, right? So that being said, I gotta move on. So these levels are not that super great. If I were to give you a level that, long story short, if I were to give you kind of something here, I'd want to line up where we are in the SPYs and SPX as well. But you might want to be looking down here. I know it might be hard to see, and it might be, I don't have enough time to articulate in a lot more granular detail of why this level is fairly decent right here. But you could lean against this price point, call it 60-30. For a Globex strat. All right, and of course I'll reference this level right below here too. I'll just call it 60-20 here. All right, so I had to drill down to a smaller time frame and find the impulse basing impulse right in here. Okay, on the date of, what is this date? November 29th, essentially off the open. I just want to kind of see what that looks like on SPYs. It's right here. $11.29, which is that last Friday? Yes. So that would also be kind of the confluence with last week's VWAP. All right, so you might be able to see it right here now. I'm on SPY. We have a little guy right there, IBI, which was a previous, we actually caught this. This is where we got like super long on Friday on SPYs and S&P futures. Some people call it Qs, NASDAQ. All right, so this is a level right here. Is this a nice little level to lean against for today in the event that we get down here? Give me a yes or no on that. My phantoms. Confluence with weekly VWAP right there, last week's VWAP. keep that on for a little bit for this week. We also have an unfilled gap right in here as well. All right, yesterday's low, we have an unfilled gap. So I don't know, there could be some trapping over here, right? So this is an unfilled gap too. So that could potentially get filled today, tomorrow, what have you. Again, don't just think it's going to get filled today and be like, yeah, it's going to get down there. Let me just short this market and get down there. What if it doesn't? And just get faded back up. All right. All right, so just put some notes on that. And, you know, this is going to be the area where you have a couple of levels here where you have some futures ES Globex traps. Long. All right, if y'all can read that. What is that? SPY 630, okay, and SPY, you know, 598.80s. All right, what am I on a 5 minute of SPY right now? You'll see it. All right, and that would be the correctional wave here, right? In the event, you know, correction. There you go. You know, I'm not saying bigger correction for the month of December, right? We could have a bigger correction for the month of December, but for today, all right, if we get down in here, this is not a place where I'd want to be getting short, right? Down and coming down into these levels here. All right, probably spent too much time there, so let's probably not. This is why you're here, anyways. All right, getting back to here. All right, so all right, we just mapped that out. So in futures, that comes in at what, 60-30 and then 60-20s, give or take, right? For some G-trap longs. All right, and SPYs kind of check out too with some confluence. All right, for a Globex trap short, I want to be careful with saying that, you know, because there's no supply to the left. So, you know, I can't really, it's hard to short. So you would have to be riding momentum down. So, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not against that, right? At all. I wouldn't, what do I care if I'm against it? Who the heck am I, right? I'm just one trader in the world of billions of people. But the, you know, I'd want to be below daily VWAP and kind of riding momentum down. And then I'd be, if I'm short, right, I'd want to be taking profit at this level, buying a cover. And then I'd see if we are going to have a steeper correction for today. This is where not only would I be buying a cover, I'd be maybe looking to pick off some buy to enter rotation down in here. Okay, makes sense? But I'm being extremely patient with shorts. All right, that said, NASDAQ, gotta go a little quicker here on this. Just Globex trap high, Globex trap low. There's a Globex high. 1 hour time frame of NASDAQ futures. Globex low, we're kind of putting it in right now. So I gotta delete some of these lines here. All right, there we go. So we got, here it is here. So do I have a level of demand below? Yes. A lot of time spent here, so be careful with this one. Like I said, the same thing, kind of mapped overnight. So I'd want to investigate. I already can see it. I've been trading for so long. I can already see there's an impulse. There's a break right there that created this new high. So I just, you know, I just know. Right there. What does G-trap mean? It's called the Globex trap. It's a setup that we trade in futures, trapping traders. You know, it's too much to go through right now. If you go to TradePhantoms.com, you'll learn, you know, I have whole advanced sessions on these type of topics with the team. It's just, it's like probably, just that alone is probably an hour and 20 minutes, but it's all put into context as well. So there's a whole foundation on the backdrop of it as well, in addition to just trapping people who are trying to get short into a demand level, but it's a specific setup. In this particular case, this would be bullish. About what, 20,875, call it? You know, I got to reference this area here too, in addition. All right. Right now, NASDAQ is not at its all-time high, right? We already kind of spoke a little bit about that, right? So, we did come up higher up into these levels. Okay, we were, hopefully y'all didn't get scared out of your trade as we were rallying up. This was a beautiful day yesterday. So, hopefully y'all kicked off the week strong with the NASDAQ long that we took on Friday. You're in Ireland, my man. It's all right. Everything's recorded, brother. All the classes are recorded. Even the live trading room is recorded. Everything is recorded. So just be careful up here. But well, what I'm saying is be careful with shorting this. It looks like it wants to just die and continue down, but just put that into reference in the context. Okay. Nasdaq, however, did come up into a couple levels here that we had just pinned, right, for inside of this rally, this basing and this drop that we were talking about for with the all-time high of Nasdaq, right? So Nasdaq again did not make its all-time high. Okay, so just know what you're doing there, right? Kind of break it down a little bit. One of the more is it the weakest one this morning? Yes, right. Strongest one yesterday, then a little bit of a weaker one here today, down 24.24%. Okay, which is not insanely down. So again, we just got to put all this into context and reference, right? All right, so G-Trap long 28, 2085. You might be saying, well, Mr. Blue, you think we're going to get all the way down there, right? But I'm not here to let you know exactly when what day it's going to get down here. I'm here to map out the higher quality levels that in the event we get down there, whatever day it is, whether it's with me or without me, okay, you know how to navigate, right? And execute off of it. I'd be very careful with this. I'm not even putting a price on it, right? 1 hour time frame here. Y'all can find that. All right. Super obvious. Everybody and their grandmother probably sees this level here. Okay. So there's probably, I would even say there's probably going to be a liquidity sweep right below this level right here. So I'd almost just put my entry right below where people are going to get their stop losses triggered right here. And I don't even need to put a price right there because I already have one there. Okay. So there could be some stop loss hunting, liquidity sweeping right below here, right? All right. And I got to move on. Hopefully y'all can see that. All right, this looks like it just wants to fill the space in very simply and quick, but be very careful with that. This bull market, right? So in Qs, just want to see where that level is. That comes into Qs about right here. Call it 507 in Qs. All right. IBI right here. All right, this is a trade long call, whatever. Yeah, we bought options for $1.90. They were going for like $4 yesterday. So nice little opening up for the week. All right. Anyways, moving on. VIX. Well, let me do gold real quick. Gold's pretty quiet so far. Gold futures. Monthly close, kind of a red bar, but we have a wick off of the weekly here. Might be hard to see with all the lines, but the we talked about this weekly level here, great. All right, monthly, weekly, daily. So 2540s. We talked about that level here. We all right, move down, great. Red bar, positive CRG here, rally back up. We had some daily supply to absorb. Right, last week was an inside bar close. Okay, still off the back of a positive CRG, strong positive CRG of the weekly. December, January, typically seasonality-wise, gold is fairly strong. All right, so we'll see. So long story short here is that red bar on 1125, right? November 25, that massive red bar that got put in. So far, have we had fall through down below that? No. But have we had fall through back above that? No. So we've been inside bar, right? Inside bar, inside bar. So gold for 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be the 5th day, give or take, where gold's just kind of quietly figuring out, sifting out, what its next move is going to be. Okay, whether we break out this red bar here and continue higher. Okay, whether we break below the red bar and maybe just continue a little bit more lower. Okay, right. So we have a couple of demand levels here below. We have a couple of supply levels here above. Right now, if I look at the macro monthly, weekly, daily picture, okay, are we still in a macro picture uptrend or macro picture downtrend? We're in an uptrend still, right? And we have no time to, right? So we're still in a macro picture uptrend, okay? Yes, if I look at the impulse correctional move on the weekly, we did snag a little bit below this last level of control on the weekly, all right? But we came deeper into a better weekly level in the, with the rising 20 moving average here, as well as some other longer term VWAPs, so that we pushed back down off of, right? And you can see we just kissed this level 2540, and we rallied right back up with a nice positive COG 2 weeks ago. Okay, now we're inside of that. So in seasonality wise, right? Seasonality wise, as mentioned, right? December and January doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but typically it's a bit more stronger for said gold. Okay, so we still have maybe 2 months for this seasonality, quote unquote. Say that in quotes, right? Grain of salt with that to continue higher, right? So, but we could go lower before we go higher. That's the thing, right? So that being said, these levels now, I just dropped down to a 60-minute time frame. I'll map out our Globex trap, Globex low and Globex high. Yeah, I got some sold puts. The island gaps on GLD are, with GLD, it always has island gaps everywhere because gold moves a lot overnight. So just reference gold futures, Santo, to give you some insight to help you with that. So you don't get, I'm not saying you're scared, but to not get spooked out of a lot of those island gaps on GLD. GLD is one of the only ones that I would say, like, be careful with those island gaps because they're everywhere. It's like island gaps every day. Not every day, I'm exaggerating, but it makes sense. All right, just chart futures and then it fills in those gaps. And you'll get better confidence and validity in your levels and what you want to look for and do. Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, we're just basing, right? We're just basing. So, in the event that we do break this this is that red bar. This is the massive red bar right here. Okay, I'm on a 1 hour time frame here. What I will say here is, even if we did break that massive red bar, I would pin this 2600, okay, in futures down here. This 2600 and the 2590, give or take. Okay, I'd say even 2585 for for some bullish longs here. Okay. If we definitely get down into the 2540s, that only dipped in just a little bit. So there's still some unfilled nice demand down in here. I'll talk a little bit about that if and when it happens. But the point that I'm trying to make is even if gold did kind of swipe down a little bit below that red bar, I'm still not, it's going to be hard for me to short that coming into, just with the monthly, weekly, daily up and, seasonality wise too. And we do have some nice little demand levels right below price. This is a 60-minute time frame. So it's a smaller time frame, but I always talk to the phantoms regarding, what is the bigger picture, macro picture telling us, and we're still healthy in a bullish uptrend, right? And again, we are inside week, right? And this is all one inside weekly bar. This is a positive COG. In English, all this right here is a massive weekly positive COG. In this obnoxious yellow. Okay, move up, right? And then we had this is just one massive red bar on the daily, right? Yeah, negative COG, red bar. Okay, but we're still in a macro uptrend. So that's what I'm trying to say is, even if we did swipe below this little red bar right here, this little red bar low, it could be a liquidity sweep. No, it could be a liquidity sweep. So people are like, oh, it's taking out that red bar, right? Stop losses here. People have stop losses here, right? And then, but with this range build up, and then people who are like trying to short, right, coming into level of demand, thinking that goes going to go lower, which it could, don't get me wrong, all right, but that there could be this 2600, 2685, 2570 could be a nice area to trap some folks in the event that they're trying to do that, right? Taking out that red bar down. All right, I just realized that we have 2 minutes to go there, right? So, you know, these are the levels. I'd be careful. You know, we have some levels over here that already kind of got pinned in, right? So just be careful with this. Aggressive long kind of worked out already. You know, aggressive shorts. You know, you want to be careful. I want to be getting higher up. Okay, I got the G-trap short better up here. Let me clean these lines up a little bit. All right, the better Globex trap shorts. I'm not sure if it's going to get all the way up here, but you know, to short gold, I'd be more inclined to be higher up here on the daily time frame with a drop the base and the drop daily. So that comes in at like 27.47s. All right, you can reference the 27.20. There's the top of that red bar on the daily. VIX. Slightly higher today this morning, nothing too crazy. Up 1.5%. Good job, Mark. Yeah, I got some long shares on SMCI. Yeah, we got long shares on this. Oh, good job. All right, map that out on the higher time frame. VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. Inverse correlation. So mapping out the overnight low here. Overnight high here. You know, we're on a little spike right now. I want to see if the VIX continues its trend lower. Okay, or if it spikes and remains higher. That's going to give me some intuition into some clues into what the market wants to do. All right, VIX up, market down, VIX down, market up. There's more to it, but keep it simple right now. Market's about to open in about sub 20 seconds. All right, SPY's really no gap. You know, Q's slight gap down, no big deal. Be careful with that. All right, Apple. Some folks got long Apple yesterday. You see, somebody was asking about Tesla being a mortgage gap. I think that was Modi, and he's always saying that, and it almost does, but then it doesn't right before the open. It has one of the uglier gaps, though, I will say. Microsoft exploded yesterday, pretty decent. Tesla has one of the nastier gaps down. And it's not that nasty, but it's relative to others. All right, so far, let's see, let me just get a quick look at internals really briefly, be patient. Advanced declines, positive 369, that's not a lot at all. Valdi slightly higher, but very weak. And we'll see if VIX can sustain its impulse move up a little bit there on before the open. Tesla, you can see gap down, yes, but putting the green bar right there so far. Microsoft, what's going on here? There we go. Yeah, see these wicks here. Meta one of the stronger ones, but it's still coming up into its upper range, and it's been a mess up and down here. Meta, I would not be surprised one bit if it does snag a all-time high. I'm not sure if it's going to happen today, but Meta has a nice little level right here, about 587 handle for not just a day trade, but for front side entry for potential swing. That's a shelf right here, so not too bad there. I'm not sure if it's going to make all-time high, but this would be the season to do it. Santa Claus. I got my eye on Tesla and Microsoft for shorts. It's still a tough one though. And when I say short, I mean just for the day. We've been crushing Tesla lately. Clean these up. Let me see JP Morgan. Yeah, right out of the gate, a little kind of odd. Wasn't like yesterday. Let me see, monthly, weekly, daily on JP Morgan. A little bit of a topping tail put in last week, which was needed. Let's see. Inside, I mean, well, it's right halfway through yesterday's move. You can see we have a massive hammer here. This isn't too bad. It's in the middle of yesterday's range, which is not ideal. But for me to get long, it's still a tough short because XLF financials are fairly one of the stronger sectors. And this is a short, and JP Morgan has been one of the strongest stocks for the year. So be careful with that. But if we take out this hammer bar up there, that might be a bullish setup. This is still one that I'm not looking to, I'll go short something that is weaker than something like JP Morgan, relatively speaking. Let's see, Amazon looking fairly decent. AVGO is back in town. I liked actually, I was looking at AVGO yesterday. I like the kind of rotation here that it's trying to put in here. Nice little liquidity sweep on the weeklies. So AVGO long call, I gotta do it. And you can see just the pre-market down ever so slightly, but just can't follow through, right? So let's see, if I pick up the, what are we trading on, 165 halves? If I pick up the 167 halves or the 170, strike. December 6th expiration. It's not too bad there. I'm still long Qs for the record. I took profit, as you can imagine. So I do the 167, or no, I'm sorry, the 170 half I think I elected to do, right? No, the 170, jeez. All right, AVGO long call. I filled at 169. want to be a little careful with bullish exposure. On NVIDIA, putting in some nice price action here too. Did Amazon fall through? Amazon too, looking decent. All right, Amazon long call. We have 10 o'clock news, remember that. December 6th. If I pick up the 212 half, they're going for what, 210? And that's what I got him for, 210. 212 half strike. I'll just steal this line from the other day. All right, so long Avgo, long Amazon. NVIDIA trying to put in a stance here. Apple crappy, but coming off a beautiful last couple days. NVIDIA going. All right, what can we do already in Avgo? We can already take some profit. Palantir look good too, looks like. I just want to TP a little bit here diligently with you folks because I can't spend, usually we'll trade, we just continue to trade. TP some AVGO here. I got filled at 194 on AVGO. NVIDIA gave us a positive COG here. It's hard to argue that. I buy calls on Qs. I'll check that out. Where do I go to find the recording? Should be in the archive there, platform immersion. In the bonus section. But there's a couple of them. How to use the matrix. Or the active trader. But I'm trying to focus right now, buddy. I'm trying to focus, but I'm trying to focus on live market, buddy. Somewhere in there though, buddy. Choppy. It's all right. It's not super choppy. We do have news though. Let me check internals. Load GEX. Only 2 minutes left. A little bit of negative GEX put in. So I want to be extremely careful with the long bullish exposure right now, okay? All right, spot's coming down to this just crappy level here. Yeah, Fang's kind of all over the place. Apple trying to they're putting a couple of bottoming some tails here, so there could be some people trapped in Apple. Amazon already long. So Q's looking good, decent for a positive, for a long call here now. It's giving it to us there. These options that we bought for like 188, 190 right now are going for 360. VIX did swipe a quick little new high, so I want to be careful. There's a little bit of a gap fill here, but I got to go with this positive CRG here. Now, if this thing fails and we get back below here, below VWAP, just cut out and be wrong. Want a 2 minute time frame of Qs here. So I'm giving this a tight kind of a leash, if you will, right? About 513, 89-ish, give or take. Or you can work off this positive CRG. But I want to be careful with bullish exposure. Too much of it. Okay. But if we were to pick up, say, the December 4th, which is tomorrow expiration, so we're not trading like 0 DTE. What are we trading about? Rounding up 515. If you pick up the 516s, you're going for about $1.47. If you got a stop loss at 513.88, what does that look like? 513.88. But I bought this one here. Not bad. Low risk. It'd be low risk. You'd be risking about, I'd say, 30, 40 cents. If you bought these for $1.46, for the 516s December 4th. Long call. Not bad. We can lean against this positive CRG. It'll be below VWAP, stop loss right here. 513, about 88. Not bad. Small risk. Small risk. So if it fails, it fails. Damn, Lily. Meta decent. Apple got some people trapped there. So Qs right down there. I'll pick those up. Apple looking good too because of that. Those wicks are people trapped. All right, getting long Qs here. The bottom one there, got these for 152. All right, long Qs. December 4th, 516 strike. Got filled at 152 on these. Told y'all Apple's probably gonna pop there because of the see ya. And now people are scrambling. Anybody who's short, pain, and trying to get out. Buy the cover when new buy enters. Actually, that was the better one. Even better than Nvidia. Nvidia didn't even fall through. And Amazon trying to do a little something there. Apple was a nice little pop off that. I almost knew that was going to happen. All right. NVIDIA added the VWAP, so that's interesting. All right, just be patient, folks, as always. Let's see, Amazon looks like it's trying to work itself out. So we'll see. All right, but that's my time for now, folks. Yeah, so if you want, you got news at 10. Remember, 8 minutes. All right, so if you want to learn a little bit more about this, if this is floating your boat, if you're like, what is going on here, and you want to learn a bit more about that, go to TradePhantoms.com. Register, pretty common, basic. I believe this Thursday, December 5th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be a 90-minute class session, if you will. Name, email, you'll get sent the link, all of that. There's the agenda. All right, Mr. Black, Mr. Green probably will host that. Sometimes they do it together. All markets, stocks, futures, forex, options, how the markets really work, demand, supply, how professionals analyze it, right? Multi-direction, up, down, sideways. Love options. You can trade when markets are going sideways. All right, even crypto, okay, is an asset class that we trade. I love me some Bitcoin. Actually, well, I digress. But trading, if you're starting out small income, right, small, just starting out in your career, all good, all the way up to we have members that wealth management, a couple millions that they're looking to manage or as well. In addition to, so one-stop shop for kind of everything that you're looking for. If you like it, great. If you don't, cool as well. No one cares. It's up to you if it's going to be a fit or not. All right, with that said, trade safe. I'll see y'all later in class today. Stay close. I'm going to see if I might be able to do some Twitch today. So stay close to the chat. I wanted to really start that off, kick that off for the month of December here today. So I might be on some Twitch to do some GEXBot and things like that. Okay, and just trade the indexes. All right, Qs, SPYs, SPX, S&P futures, NASDAQ futures, and just rip it up. All right, I'm out, folks. God bless. Be safe with the 10 o'clock news, and I'll see y'all on the flip side. Blue out.